All right, we got an 8 on top here. And as you can see, he was either wearing a hat or something on the top of his hair, so it's very important to always comb or brush the hair down, especially in these little areas. The top doesn't really matter because we already cut the top, so this part doesn't really matter. But if this was over here, you 100% have to put some water in it and brush it down, comb it, make sure everything's flowing in smoothly. And I'm still gonna do it regardless, and I'll show you the finished product at the end. Let's get started with the haircut. The very first step, like always, is go right around the ear. I already explained why it's cool to go around the ear, and it's because it gives you more room to blend, no matter what haircut they choose, no matter what haircut they ask for. And when I mean no matter what haircut they ask for, obviously I mean if they ask for a fade. If you get a taper, you're definitely not gonna be doing this. Taper's only here on the sideburns. So let's say he would have asked me for a mid fade. I would have definitely started it around that same line. So the only thing that changes is this line right here. Low fade is here, mid fade is here, and then high fade would be a little more angled. But it would still go towards the top of the ear. So like I said, we have an 8 on top. So what I'm gonna do is with a 3 guard, I'm gonna go all the way up there. I'm gonna brush the hair down, go all the way up here, brush it down, and I'm following that same line as my 0 guideline. That 0 guideline is your foundation line. So every single line on top of that is going to follow that same exact line. So it would make no sense for me to go straight here, and then this is curved like this. I need you guys to understand that. And this doesn't have to be, it doesn't have to take a long time. None of these steps take a long time because once you know your steps, you can just do it. It's like a little system that you built and you just follow through the system. And if something's wrong at the end, that's where you go and you start detailing. So now with the lever all the way open, this is all the way closed, this is all the way open. We're gonna go here, then we're gonna go over here, and we're gonna go about 1/2 inch. Now, obviously we want to preserve that C cup, so we're not gonna go with our half all the way up here. We're just gonna angle it and follow that same line. And don't be shy, give yourself a nice room to blend. Get yourself a little taper comb and measure it, and it should be around this width. And honestly, if you want to go a little bit thicker than that, it's not a big deal, especially if you're a beginner. This is the hardest part of the haircut. If you can get through with this, it's going to give you more confidence for the rest of the part, for the rest of the haircut. So definitely make sure you give yourself enough room for this specific step. So now we're going to close the lever 2 notches down, 1, 2, and we're going to go in between both of these lines. This is line 0, this is line 1/2. We're going to go right in between them. If you have a flicking out motion, it helps out a little bit more. If you don't understand the flicking out motion, don't worry about it, just go right in between them. As you can see, I gave it 1 or 2 passes. It's not that hard. Tell yourself it's not hard, and I promise you it's going to be a lot more simple. So now we're going to go 2 more notches down, 1, 2, and get the 0 line, and we're going to pass it once or twice. As I get to this curved line, I'm using more of my corners. Obviously, this is not curved, this is straight. So if I go like this, I'm going to make a line, right? So as I get to this curve, I'm going to use this corner and then that corner, and I'm maneuvering myself around that line. I'm not going like this with my full blade because, like I said, the blade is straight, this is not straight. It just doesn't make sense. Okay, we passed it about 3 times. Now we're gonna keep on going. Because the 3 guard is a dark guard, it means that we can blend into with the 1.5 guard as long as we apply a good loft, right? So if we put this part of the blade flat on his head like this, we're gonna create a line. So what we want to do is we want to angle it out a little bit and cut like this, right? So you don't want this to be flat on his head. You want it to be angled out a little bit. You basically kind of want it to be touching more of this area over here. And going like this, angling out a little bit and just going up and down is a lot easier than doing the flicking out motion, because with the flicking out motion, you're kind of guessing where you have to start flicking out. With this, you're not guessing. All you're doing is going up and down. That's all you're doing. And keep in mind, this is with the lever all the way open, and we are basically almost done with the haircut, believe it or not. I'm applying very light pressure. I'm kind of gliding on his head. He has bumps here, everyone has bumps here, everyone has bones. So this area is the hardest part to blend. And all I'm doing is I'm just going up and down with my angle, with my clipper angled. And then if the hairs get cut, the hairs get cut. If they don't get cut, then they don't need to be cut. It's that simple. When I first started cutting hair, I was so focused on making sure all the hairs were cut. I was digging my clipper into my client's head, going like this, like, oh, I gotta make sure everything's cut the right length. It's not like that, guys. Look how it's starting to blend in really, really smooth. And keep in mind, if you want to use a 2-guard method, you can do it. You can skip the 3-guard and just do it with this, as long as you angle it out properly. Because when you angle it out, it's going to act as a 3-guard. That's why it's blending smoothly into the 3-guard, because we're angling it out. We're not digging in, right? With the 3-guard, we're going to use this guard, which is the half guard, with the lever all the way open. And you see this line right here? We're going to go right at it, angling it out, right? So this is flat. You can tell the difference between this and this. So I'm gonna go like this, and I'm just gonna go up and down, up and down. And with very light pressure, you're gonna see that the line's gonna start blending out. Over here, because of the curve, I'm gonna start using my corner. And you can see that it's starting to blend out. Look down a little bit. Now this, I'm gonna start using my corner again. Because we're using very light pressure, sometimes you're gonna have to go over the same spot a couple times, but honestly, it's worth it. Don't try to save yourself time by going really, really digging into your client's hair. Don't do that. Okay, now for the last line, and we're done with the haircut, we're gonna start lever playing with our lever. I like to go with the lever 2 notches down, which is halfway, and then I go 2 notches down, which is all the way closed, and then that's how I take the line out. So this is all the way open, which is where we had it. Now we're gonna go 1, 2, and touch that line again. And all we gotta worry about right now is taking that line out. So we don't wanna go underneath that line, and we don't wanna go way too high up over the line, because then we're gonna make another line. I need you guys to just focus on this line right here. So now we had our clipper all the way in the middle. Now we're gonna go 1, 2, and it's gonna be all the way closed. And you see how you can still see a very faint line? That's all we're worried about again. We're gonna go right up to the line with the corners, and it should blend out very, very smooth. And I'm gonna give you guys some showcasing tips for Instagram, for YouTube, whatever it is that you're gonna do. A lot of people would just get this. Okay, it's a nice fade, get a little picture, and then post it. But his lineup doesn't look sharp. His face has hair all over it. The cape has hair all over it. So guys, don't rush into taking the picture. Clean your clients. Make sure you give them a good lineup. And then last thing, you know how we talked about his hair being all funny here? All I'm gonna do is apply a little bit of water to that area. And then I'm gonna grab a blow dryer and just blow dry it down. And that took me like maybe 30 seconds, 45 seconds. And now all we really have left to do is add a shaver. And like I said, when I get close to that 0 line, I'm actually flicking out a little bit, right? You always flick out with every single clipper, every single. And just for the sake of the picture, obviously, like, take a little extra time and clean them up. Like literally, just clean them up, clean this hair. It doesn't have to be perfect. I'm not like gonna go in and line up his mustache if he doesn't want me to, or line up his goatee if he doesn't want me to. I'm just cleaning up all these hairs. I'm probably doing him a favor because I know how long it takes. And then right here, I see a little bit of a line, so I'm just gonna go. And you see how we did everything so quick? Now we have time to be like, okay, what is wrong with this haircut? And then we can go fix it. So for example, I see a little bit of a line here, so I'm gonna go with my clipper all the way open. And I'm just gonna barely touch it. I'm using very light, very light pressure here. And no matter what, I'm never gonna apply more pressure. If it's not cutting, all I'm gonna do is close the lever down and apply the same amount of pressure. People mess up when they like, oh, the hair's not cutting, I have to go in deep or I have to go in harder. Whoa, boss. But you don't have to do that. You have to go with the same amount of light pressure and just close your lever down. Let your lever do all the work, let your clipper do all the work. And we just detailed it. That was the only part of the detailing that we need to do. And you can add a little bit of baby powder. Whoa, that was too much on the skin to create some contrast. And then you can just, I like to just brush it down. Just like that. And now he is picture ready. We're done. Obviously, I'm gonna clean this cape. So we clean the cape. We're gonna try not to get the cape too much. We're gonna go over the top just to make sure all the 8 is good to go, and then he's done. And we did this haircut, I think we did this side in maybe like 10 minutes. So we did this side in less than 10 minutes, and then the other side would also be less than 10 minutes. So we did a high quality haircut in less than 30 minutes. And that just goes to show you don't need to be spending all this extra time on the haircuts. You can if you want to, but you definitely don't need to. Some people think that really fast haircuts, or some people think that any haircut under 45 minutes is gonna be rushed or is gonna be low quality, but obviously it's not. You just have to apply the right techniques, and then you can get your clients in and out the chair. You can have someone every 30 minutes, and you can still have high quality haircuts like this. That's it. We're done.